You're listening to The Grind.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is here, the one, the only, Mr. Ian Alvarez, the Black Spaniard, aka the Viking of Soca.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's going on?
Thank you, brother, for reaching.
Since when last have you tried to do this?
I probably the year before that.
Yeah.
Probably the year before that. But nothing before its time.
Yeah.
And I know how the carnival season has get sticky, especially for a man like yourself.
Yeah.
I know last year I would have really liked to lock in and talk to you because, you know, you are the reigning road march king of Trinidad and Tobago, which is something we're going to get into. But aside from that, how the season treating you so far? This one, 2024?
Well, good. Well, all season has treated me good. But, I mean, going good, we're kind of observing, we're observing a little late start to everything. Overall, the whole momentum of the season kind of in a drag right now. I think it now kind of start picking up.
From this weekend?
Well, it was supposed to pick up from this weekend going here, but boy, I don't know, boy. Like things went haywire this weekend. People crying and bawling all over the social media for all kind of happening. So I guess from the weekend coming, it will really pick up. Or it's supposed to pick up.
Yeah, because I know somebody this weekend, my boy DJ Travi went two party. He went too fat this weekend. You know what I said? So I can't make one. You know what I mean? So yes, Garlin. Man, there's so much we could talk about.
Yeah, man, we talk. Man.
Yeah. But I want to get into, you know, let me deal with last year and the road march. Because you have known and you've said it in songs long ago that your style and your vibe was never conducive to winning a road march. Yet here we are. What do you think lent to that energy last year and you finally taking the title singularly?
Well, I think what happened is I kind of read the room over the 3 years before
the COVID years
pandemic, right? And all through the pandemic, the discussion was going on online that, boy, as soon as the place open, I just want to go the biggest thing. I want to get on the baddest and thing. So that has been feeding into the atmosphere from people from all over. And I mean, of course, we're in the age of social media now. So if you're not paying attention to social media, you wouldn't see that.
Right.
You might still hear the conversation, but seeing it in real time, daily, on tweets, on IG posts, TikTok, this. Well, as soon as the place open, I'm ready to go and this and bam, bam, bam. So it was like, it tell its own story then.
The people basically, you just channel.
So Hardfed was, that from the beginning I said Hardfed was really everybody's story. You understand? After all them live streaming in a corner in a house during the pandemic there to get some sort of satisfaction. You ain't want that again.
No.
You understand? So you ain't going no small fete. Let me extend my apologies. There's only big fete with big flag going over here like canopy. Right. And that some people thought I was saying like a can of peas.
But that's a nice kind of acting.
Right? Yeah. So that in itself tell its story and it just went. And then what happened is I took advantage of that situation because I realized if you're going into that energy of you want some of the biggest, baddest thing, the only time we had some of the biggest and baddest fete was them time when we had the Wassa fete and Fire fete and licensing and flour mills and thing. So it just tied and it just went and go, you know.
No doubt. And my thing was like, to me, I would say this though. It was amazing to me because this was a song, I don't know if this song, to me it was typical, not typical Garlin, but it's classic, quintessential Garlin. So it's not like this style and this vibe that you've been doing for umpteen years. It's not like it wasn't there before and the lyrics and his bars again, them in the midst of the thing. But what was it like now to start to see people memorizing these lyrics and people grabbing your microphone and singing it?
I think that one caught me a little off because I deliberately went that complex on the song because I was in a space where
from intro go down.
Yeah, I was in a space where I wanted to satisfy me this time around. And I think as creative people, we just get so far in the rabbit hole of trying to satisfy everybody else, we just forget what we want to hear for ourselves there. Or as a DJ, what you want to play. Or as a cameraman, what you want to film. And so the story go with us. And I was like, you know what? I singing this song for me. I singing this song as a story I want to tell my way. And the only way I could do it too was to actually go back into that quintessential Garlin vibes, that hard kind of ragga style, like just come off these blocking arima. Hard also go back there because that was the time I came out. I came out in the time when the Wassa fete and all them fete was in the prime.
Flower mills.
So I had was to fit the persona. What I didn't expect, more so than people grabbing the whole song and running it, was the woman is what surprised me the most. And what surprised me even more, it wasn't like the woman you like it's you're like your girls you find in a club and thing. Corporate. Right? People in news and people flying up on stage and singing the song word for word.
Word for word.
And it threw me off, and then I realized myself I shouldn't get thrown off with something like that.
You just connect with them in a different way.
Right. And at the end of the day, this what is being done here comes from all of us. So it's not alien to them. The style mightn't be the style that they're accustomed to, but the culture is theirs as well. So it's easy for them to tap in. And it should be easy for anybody to tap in because it's a birthright for all of you, This thing is a birthright. Just some people just get wrong and approach it wrong and things just go wrong. But really by right, if you're born as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, anything that go on culture-wise, you're supposed to be able to access it.
No doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, Bunji Garlin, you're hearing it right here. So I want to go back, seeing that now, coming off of what you just said, in terms of you were criticized earlier in your career that what you were doing was not soca. You know what I mean? And I think you've won that battle a long time ago. Now to the point that you are one of the most staunch defenders of the art form. Was that a transitional thing to realize that, all right, you are reaching places with your style of soca now, and you have to sort of be a flag bearer because you're reaching into certain spaces among certain people that, let's be real, some of the average soca artists weren't reaching at that point. Not average, but the others weren't reaching at that point in time.
It's a lesson that taught itself for a very long time, and I didn't realize I was learning that lesson until the day came that I was doing something in defense of it, and then realized, shucks, look at defending this thing this kind of way.
And when was that?
And that was when this brethren from across the water did make the statement that soca music is devil music. Blah, blah, blah,
we go call in it.
And I just went out in that aura out assault.
Right, I remember that.
It was easy for me to get into that mode because that's the mode I came from. I came I'd been a chanter and on the block as a battle artist. I was a combat artist. That's why it was easy for me to enter things like Soca Monarch and them things.
And Raga Soca before that.
And Raga Soca before that. In fact, no. I entered Soca Monarch first.
Serious?
Raga Soca didn't come out until 2001. Raga Soca competition came out to accommodate my style. Because it was not...
And KMC and the others who are coming, that school.
Right. The first person who won Raga Soca, actually, they gave the title was I.O.U.R. George.
I.O.U.R,
Right?
I remember.
And then I win the year after and the year after. But I entered, when I came out in the scene in 99, I entered Soca Monarch that year when it was in PSA. I came out 22 out of 25. I had Send Them Rhythm Crazy was the song.
And you were 23 out of 25 with Send Them Rhythm.
25, Send Them Rhythm Crazy. Wow. That year, Kurt Allen won with Bees and Tongue.
Okay.
I mean, that was a clear win too. That song was a different kind of monster too.
Right.
And all them things too. You see, watching songs like those, the way a monster soca song used to be made long time, it was clear what a monster was. So I always kept that format in my mind then, right? That there's only one way to approach a song when building something of a monster size creation is without apology. You really can't have no fear going behind it. You can't have skepticism if they go like, if they ain't go like. Before you leave, it must just fit like a jeans before you leave the studio. Before you walk out the room, it's like, yeah, boy. You don't even have to second think it and them kind of thing. And I kind of remove that from my whole creative style of, if I have to, when I leave in the room, if I'm still thinking, I should have changed that line, I think, it's not coming out until all that address, right? But you kind of die. I kind of go on.
We here for as long as you have time, my brother. Right? You know what I mean?
So let me go back to where I started in '99. But before, professionally at 99.
Right.
Before that, my way I want to call career, for want of a better word, started by the Greens in Arima by the market, where we used to have that chant out every Friday.
Right.
Me Emperor, JD. At that time, JD was hip hop,
yeah.
With Idol D and them and Kaya and them schizophrenics. Emperor, who from Tobago, black man, and we used to call him Militant. May he rest in peace. A few others well, Squeezy Rankin, and in fact, Squeezy and them is who I learned from, And Carrie Kill and them, when Carrie Kill was as a youth, going to Rima Compre, right. Find the Kiskidi Caravan as a youth man, right? And hard song playing on radio, prime time, everything, as a kid in school, right? I was beatboxing, still I wasn't even chanting yet. So the fellas who I look and take at
right.
Well,
I know some of my old hip hop comrades might Cool and Terra Claus and Psycho Man,
all of them too.
Arimatic,
I used to roll with
Simply, all of them.
Everybody,
Yeah.
right? I used to roll with all of them too. So that whole battle mode thing started me from then. So when I enter soca, it was easy for me to get in combat mode. And actually my first battle that I actually get into was with somebody else, with Singing Sandra and them. Right. Because they had this, when I came in, of course I came with a certain style. So everybody was, why you with this style and this accent and blah, blah, blah. And I remember I did a promotional ad for Brass. And there was, one of the questions was why everybody against me with how I song and thing. And in the response for the ad, I said something. So I don't know why some of the antique artists and them coming on me like that.
Antique, right? You call them in, okay?
But in reality, I said the word, but what they took it as is not what I meant, because they thought I was trying to say, like, they pack up and go on. And I said, that's not what I meant. That's when I said antique, these people and them treasured already in this industry and things. So why they not giving me a chance to exist?
Right.
Let me figure my way out then.
Right.
But before it could even reach the Singing Sandra, I was done on my tail, bro. And followed by Sugar Aloes and by this one and that one. And I realized, but these people on me. So I decided one day, well, I will be on them. Because that's how I was designed.
Yeah. At that point in time.
And just as it's like it get to go down like the showdown in the West, Wild West, somehow me and Singing Sandra met in Calypso Fiesta, Skinner Park.
Skinner, all right.
And I see her and I walk across there. She and Aloes was sitting together. And they watching. And I walk across. I say, good day. I say, I's Bunji Garlin. Nice to meet you. And I stretch my hand. She watched me so. Sugar Aloes watched me. He say, oh, you is the youth, man. He say, you know what? You didn't have to do what you just now did. You win my respect. And he shake my hand. And singing. And I get up and she hug me up. She say, son, I misunderstand you. I was coming for you, you know. Just what she said. I was coming for you, but I misunderstand you.
Right.
And then we think and talk and all. We went in the studio. So that name, Mother, I used to give her that name, Mother. Right. And when they was doing the eulogy at the funeral, one of the people was talking and saying she got that name from me because I said it in the song. Because the way she dealt with me, I felt she dealt with me like a mother.
Yeah, and she dealt with me same way in the Ten King, and it's a blessing.
And it stuck. And in fact, when Kaiso House was trying to revamp the year when I did Fiery. And they decided to bring me like a young person, a young attraction. And not that the older heads didn't want it to happen. And she was my strongest defender. She was like, no, we need some of them young blood to come in, and anybody have a problem with him, have a problem with me. Right? So I keep all those different things help build me into the character that I am today. I learn and I watch and I observe. At any given point in time, I get to realize in this thing, as much as we like to keep things peaceful, at any given time, you might have to just get up and fight. You have to either get up and fight for yourself.
But still respect your opponent.
You still have to respect them. And that's another thing too that a lot of now don't have. They want to come out and fight, but they have no respect within the battle.
They're fighting wild.
They're fighting real wild, hand throwing wild, you know. But, you know, that's how it just goes sometimes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Garlin is in the building, Garlin. So, on the grind. No, well, this is all right. So I'll ask this question before we jump into that song, and then we'll come back and talk. This year, 2024, are you putting out a double album, sir?
No.
Because the amount of tune where you have King. Now you're very prolific every season with releasing a lot of content, but this season seemed to be real different by that. Every time I read it about like Trav, this next one drop. What you think caused that, or what spurred that?
If I've been very honest, I went into kind of anger mode.
But why is the road match King? Why?
No. Right. It's amazing, right? It's amazing that even with that title, still foolishness came along with it. Around it, not with it, but around it. And people I thought that I was cool with, I realized them ain't really cool with me, and them have their own agenda and thing. In fact, me and you will get that dialogue off here after, and you are not hold head and ball. But anyhow, and I realized, but okay, so I was in the Matrix all this time. I thought it's a cool scene, but I get to realize it's not a cool scene. And then I realized it seemed as though like they trying to hatch a plan to try to climb up on me. So I was like, oh, that's where they're going? No problem. Time to get to work. And my whole mode was just as fast as it come to my mind and coming out. Keep up. Keep up, let it go. Because from here, the next level is on stage, and we got to defend it on stage. So I was just like, you know what, wherever I come to my, I just let it go, let's let it flow, because music is my best outlet. And I didn't realize I started to reach song number 11, song number 12, song number 13.
We're on 13 here.
Right. And I still had some unreleased stuff there. So what I did decide eventually that I will compile all this into an album.
Nice.
And Faye will compile all hers into an album.
Nice, because she have a bag tune too.
She have about 10 or 11 right now. Still have 2 more to drop too. So we decided we'll compile all them into 2 albums, 1 each.
But you could do like how Outcast, I Love Below and Speaker Box, 1 album, dog. Anyway, I just saying.
But we have and in fact, by later tonight, we'll put up the information. We putting together actual listening party kind of vibe. Nice. But in a kind of boiler room kind of session. Kind of
intimate.
Yeah, that's intimate.
Well, boiler room, but yeah.
Wild out still a kind of way.
All right.
Not planned. And then we just get on into the meter it.
All right.
However you feel. We don't want it too formal where, well, this is track number 1. Nah.
I feel it on that.
Yeah.
That's not all your style.
No. So we kind of just, we put that will be in a few days actually from now. And of course, it'll be free. We'll send out the invites. People to get it, the free ticket link and all that kind of thing. We calling it Airgasm is the name of it. Because we realize so much music release that, and a lot of DJs, no disrespect to no DJ, but I realize a lot of DJs very conservative about what they play and how they play. For a few reasons. Some of them don't know what they're playing. They don't understand what to play. Because if it's not contemporary, if it's in the typical flip over on your head and do this and do that and throw it back, what is this? Because you might need to understand what it is to have the discussion, and a lot of that is not happening, right? You have a lot of people just, like an iPod, they just press play because everybody like that. But when time to discuss the song and get into the meat of the song, they know how to do it. So they avoid playing them.
So what you're saying, I think you're really saying is billing tune.
Yeah.
They don't really know, all right, these ones, people gravitate to it immediately, but there's a way to build tune.
Right, and some of them don't know how to do it. And, no fault of theirs. Who to really blame in this thing? You don't know who to blame. So I have to assume the responsibility on myself to build my songs in any way I see fit.
I think the DJs and them should go brave. If you believe it, if you self, I feel the song personally.
I believe so too.
Yeah, and you go back and you build the tune.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's where, because a lot of the elders, DJs.
I believe so too. And I was talking today, somebody I was telling them today, my approach has always been one way. What if there was no radio station? Because music was existing before broadcast and airwaves. Yeah. So what you was going to do then if you didn't have a broadcast and airwaves? You had to still hum your song and sing your song to people. But the difference was you would have deliberately created a song in a way that when they hear the first time the hook, there's another thing that's missing too. Because you see, we have so much easy facilitating of, I just had to make it, put it on, and I'm a friend to play it. Once it beat enough in people, he'd have a song. In my mind, it shouldn't work so. It don't make no sense. Because you're cheating not only the art, but you're cheating yourself of the ability to find new creations, to find a deeper you, a bigger you, a wider you, a taller you. And the more you look into yourself, you have discovered things that you didn't know about yourself musically. That's why I will always allow myself every year to be challenged like that. What else could I do? What else could I say? Whether people take it or ain't take it or they miss it, that is them. That has nothing to do with me. My concept for the last 10 years is, as long as I open my mouth, it's good. If you ain't catch it, that's not my fault. That's yours, bro.
That's you.
That's you.
That's you. That's a good segue.
Yes,
Let me go into it. One time. DJ Trap, that's you. Give me it on the dial rhythm. Yeah, man.
Funny man thing, dog.
One set of feathers and beads. White one from here with that crap dog. Eyes are better from street. You and all us are better from street. See enough man how they just do it. When you go by the house, they don't have no girlfriend. They have their own friend on the sheet. So don't tell me you don't like soca, all because of the fruit and freak. Come just tell me you can't keep up. Yet, and we go call it a week. With every genre in the world, every one of them have the freak of the week. And none of them they just get the lead. So what you're talking is obsolete. Hey, I feel little like soca, cause you never get no girl to whine on.
You're listening to The Grind.
Yeah, real factor performing. So we ain't going on, dry out the larynx. Yeah, that one is called, that is you.
That is you.
That is you. That is you. That is you. That is you. Garlin, BUNJI GARLIN. But before we head, bro, I have to go into the chat. Yo, Viking, love that song. Blessings to don't like Garlin. Work and discipline always prevail. We have had this conversation. Adrian Farrell saying, "Fear the Lord, nothing else." Red So Dread saying he love hearing our history. Now, I don't know if you know who Red So Dread is. That is Denise Belfont's son. Who's also who's hip hop but very much local with the thing. And as I always tell them, and I go tell them again, send music. Right. And the venture in the chat.
That's my boy.
Yes, I Miss Trini Woman. Oh gosh, Sonia Day. Courtney Williams locked on 100% out there in New York. Yeah, man. We have Halifax in the building all the way. We have Miami. We have Young Fido Firewolf, man. Yeah, the whole everybody inside on the chat, man. Everybody inside on the chat, man.
Yeah, man.
So, Garlin.
Yeah.
I want to ask you. I want to go into something now. So, I have had the opportunity to see you work, not often, but once or twice.
Right.
And so, all right. So, there's two things I want to, in terms of your creative process. Is it true that, from what I observe, when you go out, so after the carnival, you know, all the beaten road, wherever, it does have a kind of certain timing like that, September, October, you just really go into the lab and start to focus on tune, or is it like right through the year you created?
Nah, I actually, I doesn't start creating until like after Miami Carnival and thing.
Which is like
Which
October?
Is October, yeah.
Right.
That's when I go into the studio and just start kind of, because I think all through the year I just absorbing ideas and different sounds and thing, and then the
live,
and then the October is like a filter. I just go in the studio or sit at home, whatever, and just like flush out and let all the things that most prominent stay with me, and then start to build from there.
So, but this process, how long did it? I mean, is it a few years you realize that this is your sort of cycle of creation? Given, granted, our cycle of festivals and work going through all the carnivals, etc., etc.
I think it kind of start. I think it naturally went that way, based on All right, so in the earlies when I came on the scene in '99, and so let me get a piece of history now. Chat room, evening, let me get a piece of history. So in the year in '99 when I came on the scene, no, I can't say for before. So I'm only talking from when I came. So when I came on the scene in '99. And did my first travel to the US. The promoter carried me, booked up hotel, wherever. The ticket was to go back after the show, right? And next promoter wanted to have an event not too long after. And the man said straight out, hey, you're here already, let me just make accommodation. Because I ain't flying it back up, right?
Yeah, he's saving money.
Yeah, he take it. He said one time. I was like, ain't flying it back up. It's like, all right, cool. Bam. We make arrangement. End up linking with our brethren. Your brethren end up becoming, in fact, not your brethren, but his brethren. So his brethren end up becoming your new hotel now. So you have a place to stay. So let me give a little insight now for anybody who listening now. You see, in the year between '99 to 2003, 4, somewhere around there. Yeah, around there. If was an artist from Trinidad and Tobago, especially not established, you name him big like that. If you leave Trinidad to go to New York, because the first show used to be Brooklyn. After Trinidad Carnival. Yeah, right. Promoters coming out to book you one time for the first show in March or April. But most likely March in Brooklyn. When you go to New York, if between the ticket book to your travel to New York, you will make arrangement by somebody to stay, right? When you come back to Trinidad, that's the end of your travel for the year, bro. No promoter not booking it to fly back up to do our next show in DC. The only exception will be Canada for Caribana. Right. Because that's two different things. So Ellsworth with James and them will fly up for Caribana. You go up. When you fly to Caribana, they're clearing out the whole Ryerson University. You're staying in dorms. This is not hotel I talking about. You're staying in dorms. Man, like talking about some of the biggest names in the business, you're sleeping on cot, not bed. Right? They didn't have TV in the room and thing. Because as far as they're concerned, you come here to work, do your work, go back home. Right? A lot of them times, podium and them thing wasn't even placed here. A lot of them time, no matter who the band is, when the promoter send for you, they're sending us a yellow cab to come and pick you up to carry back. They don't know designated transport.
Right.
Or they're telling you, take a taxi, pay for it, and when you reach, call me and I'll come out and give back the money.
Wow.
This real thing I'm telling you, right? So all this time is a hustle is what going on here. So in that 99 coming on, if you go Brooklyn for your first show and you don't have a place to stay, you leave. You're not going back to the US until the next year, bro. Because nobody not flying back up. Because Brooklyn, New York become your hub. From there you're going to Long Island Carnival.
Yeah, make it easy.
DC, this, bam, bam, bam. Your last long stretch is from there to Miami Carnival down to Trinidad. In between there, you better be saving your money too. Because if you frolic inside of there and you don't have a return ticket and you don't have money to go home, you're a resident up there now.
You
Right.
pass a 6 months. How much months it was? 3?
Well, 6.
Yeah.
Once that time passed there,
That
that
is
you
it.
and them, right?
And enough men get catching that too.
Nothing. So all this time I talking about it didn't have nothing like podium and all this kind of thing. Everybody going up, you're looking to get a place to stay by. 1 or 2 promoters might have a little heart and rent a one of them building in the 50s or something where the gangsters living. Right? When you hear them dancehall men singing about 50s and 90s,
East
down
New
in
York.
Rockland, East New York, that is where the building is. When you go inside the building, there are 4 floors of emptiness. It have no mattress, no carpet, nothing. You have to get everything for yourself then. So when on your first, the whole band might come up, and your first 3-4 days, you're sleeping on your own bag in them apartment. They don't even have heat in the cold. Somebody bringing a jacket for you to borrow. All because you're trying to make this little money to take. Right? So that's why when I hear man talking, and men and women, so I don't want to make it man specific.
Yeah,
man
sure.
and woman. And this and the fight and we get fighting. I always just watch them and laugh because they ain't know nothing about fight, bro. Nothing about fight and having to survive the fight to come to this thing.
No, but then, all right, so we're talking about the fight. Do you think that, yourself and your wife, Faye, and others, you all were the ones who really started to put your foot down on certain things?
Yeah.
And I just have to talk about defending soca, defending the artists and their value to the thing.
It have some of the elders from before, like the Ronnie, McIntosh and them, used to try to hold certain kind of principle.
Shout out to Ronnie every time.
It had the other elders in He who was loose with it. They didn't care. But just give me this and whatever.
Yeah.
But people like Ronnie and them he was one of the people I learned from in terms of like standing your ground with that. Because he himself had a particular lifestyle when he on the road. Right? Anybody know Ronnie when he on the road will know what I talking about. He had a particular life, he had a certain flair.
Yes,
like a big boy in town. So you have to treat me with that respect. Right? And he kind of rub that off on me and a few others around, and we kind of pick up that and start to kind of put foot down on podium hotel. Our league coming down after Ronnie and is the league that make promoters start to really do hotels and podium and proper paying and them kind of thing.
Nice.
You understand?
Nice.
I mean, but the battle is always
still there.
Is always there, right?
Yeah.
But that's how this goes. So from since then, because of that kind of run,
Is right.
it automatically plays itself into the way I do music or release music. I ain't had time to focus on music through the year because the whole year is hustle.
The whole year is
So when Miami done and I go home,
yeah.
then I can sit down and create music. You understand? And that format just stay.
No doubt. And so the second question going into the create the music now.
Yeah.
We hold such reverence for people like a Jay-Z, a Biggie Smalls, Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
But if you've ever been in the studio with BUNJI GARLIN, it's the same. You see me?
Yeah.
I see the man ain't write down nothing yet. Yeah, I me and he have a tune me. I ain't see him write down nothing yet. He voiced Big Bad Soca the same night. If you remember that. One of your biggest tunes to date.
Yeah.
Almost everlasting tunes.
Yeah.
I ain't see nothing right.
Yeah.
Yet. Or at least not on paper or phone. And as I was saying now, we as I say, we hold such reverence for this skill and this talent that others do. And I've seen others locally, men like Isasha do it themselves, Jelano, similar. So tell us now, how do you write?
No.
I was going to add more to that part. It had more part of that question. No. I mean, do you write so you don't write on paper or phone?
No. Nah.
But do you write in the way of you come up, you get lines and thing, and then you lock it in, and then you add more, and then you add more? Is everything just a freestyle going down, or is it like you're writing in your head essentially?
I write in my head going in one shot. Right. I find I used to try to do the like you catch a line and you hold it and you mine it.
Yeah.
And then but when you do it and then you come back in, the whole flow the whole vibe change. And I was like, nah, that can't work for me. I had to do it in the moment because the moment does be the most honest thing now.
Yeah.
Is what you feel at the point in time. So I always try to catch that at the point in time. That's why I have no songs like I know of it have artists have like all kind of 200 and 300 songs sit down and they will like go pick this for next carnival, and I can't do that, bro. Because this thing does fluctuate. So anything you write this year for this year, when next year comes is something totally different, So all these songs that you sit down and you also open next year, you use it, you can't even use it.
And that's going back to the hard fet, and you kind of channeling the resonance of what happened in the season, in your life, in the moment.
So that's how I write. And when I do that, and I think that too does allow me to be able to create on a faster level too. Because once I that confident in myself that when I put together something, it's stamped when it's done then. By me, first of all. It had to be stamped by me first. God, I can't remember for the last 5 years or so, I haven't second guessed anything that I put out. When I done, I knew it was done and boom, on to the next. And only after some like when I listening back, I was like, shoot, that's why I say, damn. And I hold my head and ball and kind of
right.
You know, but pen to paper, I don't think. So that's why like.
But when did this start? Did you always write music like that? What is that point where you were pen to paper?
Nah, remember that in school that's how we started as freestyle. We started at Clash, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So our careers, so the people like me and a few others we didn't start our careers on you write a song that is a song that you could go in a party and sing everybody.
Yeah.
We start we career on as we meet is battle one time and we used to get a lot of influence from the Ninja Man and all them and watching them reggae songs, splash and thing, right? And in our head, we thought they was making up that like on the spot. But we know Ninja Man was doing plenty of that on the spot. It's only like later years, dealing with a lot of them from Jamaica, I get to realize a lot of like the class songs or face off and thing. A lot of them, they kind of preset them. A lot of them have songs built for that.
Built for Clash, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so that's why I used to sometimes hear a man come to Clash and say, I ain't come for Clash tonight. And we watching the video like, what do you mean you ain't come to Clash tonight? No, I'm never ready yet. Because I didn't realize that they were making songs to go with that. So because we was watching that and didn't know, we thought it was off the fly. So we start training ourselves off the fly. Yeah. So when we meet in a room by the dial or in school and man beating the table and it's Clash, is on the spot Clash lyrics going on one time.
Well, because I come from the same school, but how I used to do it, right? I used to had thing you get thing live on the spot, so a man could say, well, it had to be freestyle because you had your shoe, whatever, but it had thing last week.
You baiting,
and then I had a line put on the rest.
Yeah.
So I mixed the two, you know. But then, I mean, as I say, there comes a point where now, as you're rightfully saying, you're freestyling, clashing. But that does not necessarily translate all the time into a song.
No, it doesn't. So it basically like until you get out of that, basically, your whole talent kind of wastes away. Because you see, it's only you and that little circle remembering these things. And when you really check it out, how much people can remember what the actual was said in the Clash. Crowd ball and that line real bad. But if you reverse or rewind in time now to say, but what line it is they say for that man again? Nobody can remember it. Because the whole moment was spontaneous. It was real nice in the moment, because that moment is about that. But in terms of longevity, it means for me to have longevity in that my whole career had to be that. I had to fit in an arena that had to just be that. Hip hop have that. We have them battle rap.
No, it's a way more advanced now. Man, getting 50 grand
and things for battle rap, and they're spending months practicing and getting the lines together. And we don't have that, and not necessary. But it was a nice at the time. It was nice for honing skills for now, because if I end up in a sticky situation on a stage, it's something I could always draw for.
And your backing track stop. There are certain men who are backing track with women and men who are backing track.
You could just on the go until everything fixes or whatever. If it never fixes, just keep going, crowd keep
and
going.
We've seen you do that so many times and song makeup on the spot one time. Ladies and gentlemen, BUNJI GARLIN. Hello, what's going on with my mic? Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, my cameraman asked me how long this interview going to be. I tell him, less than an hour, I lie. But anyway, we ain't gonna keep Garlin much longer. You tell me which tune we have bag a tune. We hit them contract, we hit them Dice You. It have a nice one where I like called Trajectory that I find it really again as opposed to the other ones.
No, but you see again because of the heights in it. And they're catching the heights. Well,
let me deal with that one then. Let me deal with that one. BUNJI GARLIN live on the grind.
You're listening to the grind.
Bubble I one in the background there, DJ Trav. I tell you, like I was going through the catalog here tonight, and I was like, that's the different side of Garlin that we just I would say often overlook, but you know the festival have its own energy that certain tunes would take precedence, and dominate. But then there's some that connect to people in a different way. Yeah. Like I would always say, if I'm not mistaken, you won Young Kings with
accent. No accent.
Gosh, what are we going on, boy? We all right.
Channel Babylon for Carnival, boy.
No, not the prayer. Anyway, I can't remember. It will come back to my head. Anyway, whatever. But that different side of Garlin, you know what I mean? But I don't want to keep it too long, King. I want to ask a few more questions.
Yeah.
This one go be it. The withering state of Soca Monarch. You know what I mean?
Withering, is it?
Well, it clearly it went. After
withering.
yeah. After, and I would say this because I was actually a part of it.
Yeah.
Your wife did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Of the Soca Monarch, which was 2018.
18 or 19?
19,
I think.
Right? And I remember itself. For those who don't know, Garlin was there, dressed down, just in t-shirt and jeans, and Garlin was there helping people.
Running up and down.
You understand? Like, and just that connection. Yeah. And you saw that, right? This is at a sort of, you said a Soca crucible that you yourself have been through, and trying to, make it, not make it work, but make it good for everybody who is a part of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But what is your thought on what is happening to it and the importance of a Soca Monarch? Because a lot of people comment on competition kill the thing. Some of them say competition is good for the thing.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. We get so much in the. We get so much in the back and forth of what competition and this and that. Really and truly, competition in anything is good. Mm. If you could,
as we now say, you come from that.
Yeah, I come from it. Mm-hmm. And if you could streamline what the competition could mean or should mean, it would be healthy for everybody. It does get bad when it's not regulated and everybody is a free fall and people want to do all kind of thing their own way and them kind of thing. That's when it's get bad, right? But you can't say a competition is good, but then you go no man sit and watch NBA or watch World Cup. All them things is competition. Olympics is competition.
True.
At the highest level, right? But we have a thing of, we like to cry competition ain't good when we're not on the winning side of things, right? But competition in itself is a daily life situation. You're always competing to stay alive. Life in itself is a competition, right? My thing is this, with that competition in particular, because, and I want to take it on a late part here, that I heard, and then go back for a narrative came up last year where how they will kill Soca Monarch. There's an opportunity for so much of the. First of all, Soca Monarch was never designed for no newcomer. Anybody who watched the history of Soca Monarch was only the Titans used to go inside of there. It didn't have no room for the newcomer because the crowning committee see no newcomer in Soca Monarch. Because that night you come in to see the bosses of the bosses go head to head. Right?
So in itself it was also a showcase.
It's a showcase of the highest order. Right? The moment they start going on the road of, well, they go kill it because that was for the youths to showcase. That wasn't for the youths to showcase nothing. In fact, you had also showcase your skill good enough to get to that point to enter the competition. Right? So if they went the route of making Soca Monarch a thing of, for the new youths to show, it would have gone to waste. The general mind in Trinidad and Tobago would not want to spend money to see something that they're sure about right now.
Right.
If I show your catalog could go up and his catalog and we can stay about 4 or 5 hours debating, I'm putting all my money out.
Right.
If I come tomorrow and I have money in my pocket, and, that man bad. I never hear about Tebow. He just come out last year. I'm not spending that kind of money to go and see it. No, I'm not saying that because this is what I feel I should do. I'm just saying how the psyche of people is in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? Now, the next part is, because I saw it in the papers, and my name ended up in there, Marshall name, Faye name ended up in there, that the moment we declined,
pulled out,
or pulled out, it started to decline. The other thing is that, so what are we supposed to do? Singing competition in Soca Monarch forever and ever, amen? So at what point are we going to get old and not be able to sing again and we have to make a decision? So we supposed to wait until that time to make a decision to enter?
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at it, you all pulled out, but then it had O.U.R, voice.
It's exactly that, but that's my point.
3 years running voice.
It had other people, and it still have other people who giving itself longevity that could enter and willing to enter. But they start fooling themselves because they were still trying to find a way to put the burden of Soca Monarch on people like my back and Marshall back and Faye back and thing to come back in the competition. They were supposed to bypass that and look at who is the new prominence and build them towards it. And they keep missing that. Because that's how Trinidad is. Look at all now. Look at all the achievements I have with different technology, the first Soul Train Award in Trinidad, all them kind of thing. If you go in the comment section now and down in one of my posts, think this nice, but I miss Garlin from back in the old days. What Garlin back in the old days was doing? Sit down in our block singing, struggling my way to come through. It was satisfying your ears, but it wasn't satisfying my living, right? But that's the thing. As long as you satisfied as the onlooker, you could care less what's going on with me, right? And because of that, we do that with everything. So we always end up making big gaps being missed. So like how Faye, me, Boy, all of we come out from competition, and then you still know you had the voice and the O.U.R and the this one and that one. People want to look past them still to still say, let me try to find a way to get back these people in before they build this set here. You understand? And that is the problem we're going on with them. They added to the fact that the whole of Trinidad and Tobago witnessed this one young woman, Fair Alliance, do what she had to do, sit down and talk to the organization and get the Soca Monarch from the zero to where it was final night in 19 days. Right? But somehow like all that just went out the window and everybody forget that.
Listen, let me tell you something. That was something that never lost on me, Boy King Buddy. Because I was a part of it. I was there for semis. I didn't make the finals, but I make a special guest appearance in the finals, which I appreciated. You know what I mean? And you see it. And I mean, we throw events. We're familiar with events and what goes into it. And I see you, Faye, Giselle, the whole team real pull their hand, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And I think what was cool about it is the attention to detail and the attention to the treatment of the artist coming from artists was very accommodating.
That's why it was important for while Faye was doing all what she was doing, because I could have stayed home. I was like, well, she had people to do that. But I remember when we was running up and down Soca Monarch, we wanted particular things in place and certain care for all that we doing, and I never had that. So with that in mind, I made it my duty to run ground too. If Faye running ground, I run in ground too. Right, all my black jersey, when you sweat, all the sweat is turned to salt. See the line of salt going across my black jersey from hot sun. I running up and down, toting water. Faye asked me, Ian, you can't be looking like that. I said, girl, I can't care people at the thing. And I run in carrying water and all kind of thing. In fact, the people who were supposed to be carrying water lean up on the water truck smoking cigarette. I think I like a old dog running and carrying water back and forth. And
no, I have a behind the scenes footage of when I was in that actual Soca Monarch, and you see Garlin, he roamed there, I think everything.
Because I wanted the people who come in to compete, they were supposed to be the most comfortable. Right? Their only job, as Faye, when Faye had the meeting with the whole squad, and Faye said, the only job the artists and them who compete is supposed to have, the only headache they're supposed to have is
the performance.
Their performance. We have to make everything as comfortable for them. Get the room ready, line up the props, or make sure somebody take care of the props, don't damage nothing, get the props on stage, make sure there's the most comfortable people in the whole event. And that was the mission.
Nice. So do you think that there's hope for it still to come back and make a resurgence?
It always have hope, bro. It always have hope. They need to tap into the hope then. If you understand what I'm saying. They can't just sit back and say, well, we can't do because... Let me open my mouth too much right now. Right? But what I'm saying is, if it can be done on this scale, maybe might just overlook your whole thing. Look at in the last failures, where was your most success, and try to pull that back in, and then say, hey, we can't do it at this scale. Let me see if we could work together and do it from this scale and grow it back up. You was able to do this in this amount of time. We want to tap into that again. You understand? Come and think wherever we have the conversation. Conversation always to have. These things does never get done because nobody want to have the conversation. Because somebody want to have what they have in their mind and hold on to whatever the case is. And just let go that and have a conversation. You will never know what you will find out unless you have a conversation.
Like we're doing here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. BUNJI GARLIN is in the building. Garlin, I ain't gonna keep you much longer. Right? To any youths looking on. Wait, no. So one more thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody's ever asked you this.
Yeah.
You come out of the school at dance hall.
Yeah.
And battling.
Yeah. No, I didn't come out of that. I stand up on the
side. Right. You were bursting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think about the last 4 years and the Trinibad movement? And then it's, the artists that are in it, and then what I think the media is trying to associate with the crime in Trinidad and Tobago and the music. I just want to get your overall thoughts on that entire movement, because I don't think anybody's really asked you that.
Nah, nobody, no.
And you come out from this thing, because it's really and truly the quote-unquote raga soca what you're doing was coming from the dancehall school and then doing soca with your own twist it, you know?
I am, first of all, I really, is amazing, this is an amazing movement, I had to say, that happened in a time that nobody was expecting something like this to happen. Everybody looking on and didn't see that coming. And here you have these collective of youths create something like this out from their own soil, I had to call it.
Yeah. And amongst themselves.
Amongst themselves.
Without help from nobody.
They just band together and do it. And every time I saw that, I saw myself in the same story. Because I just wanted to just do something. And sometimes you just have to just do it. You can't care who looking on, whoever the case is. No. The way it may be done could be judged differently by everybody in the world. Some might like it, some might not like it. It should I be do so? It should I be done this way? It should I be done that way? Should I be done? Everybody will have a perspective. The people who created this thing is the most important people in it, because they're supposed to know what it is they're trying to get done and relay that story. You see, if they can relay that story, that is going to be a problem overall. Anybody who creates something is supposed to be able to relay the story of why, where it's going, what it is, right? I really wish that, that they could continue growing and grow this thing into something nice, beautiful that the world could tap into, right?
Well, the world has tapped into it, but it seems like it's going on a sort of downward spiral because of quote-unquote violence and the violence in the music.
That's the scary part, and that's something that they need to figure out too. And I don't think anybody else who outside of it could really comment and say, because we don't know what the story is inside of it going on. No, I could tell you my story and my perspective, because I know someone and I was talking recently and they were saying, out of that, another discussion came up of, the normal topic comes up of, could music overall be blamed for certain actions and them kind of thing? And to have people be for and against and saying, well, it's because these people see this and they see this lifestyle and this and whatever the case is. And I just sat back and say, I spoke from my own heart, and I told the person, I said, bro, let me tell you something. When I was on goon thing, when I was on running ground, right, as a street man and looking for a speed lifestyle, I remember doing an interview in the Express newspapers, and I said something that the interviewer watched me like, you sure you want to say this? And I say, yeah. I say, because I ain't telling you a lie, I'm telling the truth, right?
I think I remember Wayne Bowman,
yeah. Right? And I said, I ain't telling you a lie, I'm telling you the truth. This particular lifestyle is what I live in, and I ain't going to tell you nothing different from this lifestyle that I live in. And there's this thing that a lot of artists like to do, that we like to tell this story, and then when we get confronted, like us get, no, well, this is really this and that. You're crippling yourself. If this is what you're doing and this is the life you're living, and either you stand by it or move from it. But don't do it and then try to decide and say, well, it's really this and it's not really that. I never used to hide what I say. If I say something and it had violence involved, I telling you why I say it and I stand up by it. Whether you chastise me or not, and thing. Eventually, over time, I figure out my life and realize that is not the way to go. And I changed my path. But while I was there, I was not making no bones about what I was saying or doing and trying to fool nobody and make them feel, well, it's really this and I really know it's that, because I would be fooling myself. I was never about fooling myself, right? I really hope that all what is going on around it could somehow turn into a positive. And because, bro, all these kids stand a chance to be able to feed themselves off of this. Every one of them stand a chance to be able to provide food for themselves and their family and pay bills.
And house,
communities. Every one of them could do it. So I think they just need to just let that take principle. But as I say, all of us could sit outside looking in and have all kind of version, and it's not that. So we really have the right to say, because they alone know what's going on in there.
BUNJI GARLIN, ladies and gentlemen. Yo! Brother, we go have a part few.
Yeah.
Carnival 2025.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, while I hear, before I digs out, before I digs out, Cameron last I say that. So you see, like, just how you play that song there, and you find that, like, a lot of people not playing it and them kind of thing. this is why we're putting on the listening event fair night.
Right.
It will be at Woodford Cafe.
Chabonas.
I'll send you the link and thing for it to get the tickets and that kind of thing.
Nice.
And it's based on that. Yes, it's based on all these songs that we put together, but it's really to highlight and get into a zone with all these type of songs. January 29th it is.
Right. January 20th. So the date confirmed. January 29th. That is let me hold on.
Monday. Nice and cool Monday.
So right after the what time?
What time you just finish?
9.
As you don't come down the road.
All right. So I assume on Monday like 8, 7, 8, maybe.
Yeah, somewhere around
the details will be released, but we know the date, we know the location. Right. Yeah, man. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Bunji Garlin, the Viking. Shout out to Fair and wherever you're there.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Pick up our radio and the whole team and the whole family and everybody in the chat room. And that room, and that room, and that room, and that room. Front room and the back room. Yeah.
You don't know. Thank you so much, Bridget. So what should you want to leave the people with now? So this is the last tune we're going to wrap up the interview with. You tell me. We have 110 Overcharge, which is a serious scene right now.
Yeah.
We have At This Time. We have, I like one. Pass Around. I like Pass Around.
Yeah, let me go with Pass Around.
Pass Around.
Let me go.
Right, as you're leaving, I go just pass around.
Drink up. It's not Pass Around, eh?
I know it's Pass Around.
It's Pass Around. Like Pass Arounds when you reach Pass Arounds.
If they mark that day.
They spell it too.
So it's a height. It's a kind of, yeah.
Come to the entrance, but make sure you have to 868. It's all about the grind. Tell them about this, yo.